Yo, what's up guys? It's Michael from Chess Lifestyle and we are doing another day of training. So we are up to 2,310 subscribers. I forgot to do this. I need to set a timer for when to stop training. So, okay. I haven't worked out a better way to do this yet. So I just have to roughly estimate. Okay, perfect. So, we're gonna be doing, wait, are we doing 39 minutes of training? Yo, wait a sec. That should not have been live as well. Oh boy, okay, what a start to a stream. 2,310 seconds, 2 minutes. Oh my god, guys, we're at 38.5. I've titled this stream wrong. Okay, we're gonna pretend that someone needs to unsub really quickly and then sub again, so that we can stay on track. But okay, tomorrow I will make sure to change it to 39 minutes, guys. Incredible. We are doing 1 extra minute of training. This is fantastic. But yeah, basically today. We're going to continue with the training of Chess Mood, this discovered attack. We found that actually these tactics are not in our intuition as well as they should have been. So that's the plan. But I'm feeling like a bit groggy. I don't know, like having some like brain fog. So I thought like maybe we'll just start with like a blind tactic. And if we can do a couple of these, maybe we can do the tactics and then we'll go to the puzzle streaks. So let's see how much we get in. But yeah, how are you? How are things? How is life? What is up? Okay, blind tactic 814. Oh, let's give this our best shot. Again, I'm feeling tired today, but actually this weekend I don't really have much plans, so like I think I'll finally be able to rest and like not be tired for once, so that would hopefully be good. But okay, let's try and solve this. Okay, so without evaluating right now, we've got f5, queen e7. What? Oh, okay, I looked at f5 for black and then I was like, hold on, what's going on? So f5 for white, queen e7, knight takes d7, queen takes d7, f6, gf6, rook takes f6, queen e7, rook a f1, king h8, rook 1 f3, rook a d8, queen f2, rook d7, rook h3, and rook g8, white to play and win. So in that final position, I believe we've still got a rook on f6, a queen on f2, and a rook on h3. And this g-pawn is no longer present. I believe the queen is on e7. And this rook did something like this. And I think the king is on h8 and the rook is now on g8. So in that final position, I think white is... Wait, so 4, 6, 7, 4. I think white is up. No, white sacked for f pawn for the g pawn. Okay, so material is still equal. But of course, like the key to the position is the fact that black's king is so weak. So definitely, like the immediate move that comes to my mind is rook takes h7, which forces king takes h7, and then queen h4 check would force king g7, in which queen h6 is checkmate. So I think that's pretty clear. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, these, I mean, after doing the past one tactics, these are a piece of cake, right? Let's do one more. Let's go even deeper. For some reason when I do these blind tactics, I suddenly like wake up. Like it's really good for like just waking up. Have I got... Okay, yeah, just making sure that everything is working. So let's go for this. So we've got knight takes c2, rook f5, knight b4, king e2, rook h8, rook h1, rook e7, king d2, rook h5, rook f8, king c7, rook g8, b6, wait, no, completely lost it. Too many like weird piece moves for me to follow. So knight takes c2, rook f5, knight b4, king e2, rook h8, rook h1, rook e7 check, king d2, rook h5, rook f8 check, king c7, rook g8, b6, g6 from white, rook f5, yeah, from h5 to f5, rook h2, rook f3, and g7. So if I understand the position correctly, I think we've got one rook on f3, right? One rook on f3, one rook on e7. White has a pawn on g7, a white rook on g8, and a white rook on h2. The white king is on d2. The c pawn is no longer here. So it feels like... oh, and the king must be on c7, otherwise it'd be in check. So it feels like, you know, white is like a move away from playing like rook c8 and then g8 equals queen. So this looks very promising. For white, but I guess we need to do something quick with black. So because the c pawn is no longer here, right, that means we can play rook takes d3, and then after king c1 it's just rook e1 mate, so it's just a simple checkmate in two. So yeah, in general you have 3 pieces in the attack, checkmating an open king, so then there's very good chances of a checkmate. Welcome Kyogen Mawashi, welcome Kyog to the stream. I am so glad to see you here. How have you been? What's been up? And yeah, basically, I don't know if you could tell this from Shogi, but like my tactics and calculation was my weakest point, and it still is. So basically, I've been working on my tactics and calculation in these streams, and the cool thing is, recently I actually reached a new peak. So yeah, I managed to reach 2500 in rapid. So this was, I think, like ranked, at least at the time, I think I was ranked like 230 even. So yeah, this is a goal of mine for a while. So it's really nice to finally hit some nice goals with my chess. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, and I definitely feel a bit more refreshed after like calculating these sequences. So let's now move on to let's finish off this video on discovered attack. So I think this was the next puzzle. This is black to play. As always, evaluate the position first and then try and find the continuation. I can't remember, Kyo. Can you play any chess, or you're just here for the support? I don't remember if you know the basics. Okay, again, I'm being very, very bad with trying to find the answer without evaluating first, so let's try and do this real quick. 4, 4. Okay, so basically for this, materials equal. And I guess, like, perhaps our king is even slightly weaker. However, we do have this discovered attack idea, right? We've got this move rook h2, sacrificing the rook, king takes him, and queen h8 check. And, yeah, the idea is that, well, I thought if the rook were to block, then we might have some knight g4 check and pick up the queen. But the thing is, on rook h2, king takes h2, and queen h8, the king can always move back to g2, and then we don't have a discovered attack, and we're simply a whole rook down. So this is why we should be very careful with just jumping into a line. So, okay, evaluation-wise, materials equal. It feels like white's actually got some very good pressure on us. The white king is actually surprisingly safe. given these rooks are protecting. But we do have the move. And we need some candidates. So of course rook h2 is a candidate, which I jumped into way too quickly. Maybe knight g4 immediately could be an interesting candidate, in case there's like some checkmate with the knight and rook, but generally knight and rook are not very good at coordinating and giving checkmate. So rook h2, maybe knight g4. Don't really... Yeah, the only... Like, okay, we need like some safe moves as well, right? Like, let's say there is no tactic, like what would we even play? There's pressure on our queen, pressure on the knight, pressure on g6. And our king is very, very uncomfortable, so this is definitely not a position I'd want. Okay, I guess queen e6 would be like a very like kind of safe consolidating move just to try and hold on, but even so, like... Even moves to like rook takes g6 look interesting, with knight takes g6 and then queen g7 check. Like this looks really close to collapse. But maybe that would hang on actually. But I guess queen e6 bishop takes g6 looks scary as well. So it feels like we kind of need to do something quick and make use of the fact that the queen on b2 is unprotected, right? So that would be really ideal if we could find something here. H2. So the point is, why are we actually throwing in this extra check? Like, I don't know why my brain did that, like rook h2 with queen h8. I think the reason why is because, for some reason, it felt like I can't do a discovered attack when the piece that's doing the discovered attack is being attacked. But this just shows, like, you know, how lack of experience I have of these puzzles, right? Because that's more like a discovered check, right? Like, if this was a king on b2 and I go like rook h2, king takes a knight f3 check, like discovered check on to the king on b2, then of course the rook can just take. But of course this is not the point. So discovered attacks work completely differently. It's actually so bad that I don't have these intuitions just firmly under control. So rook h2, king takes h2, I can simply give a check and I will pick up this queen. Fantastic. So okay, now the question is, after rook h2, king takes h2, where would I put the knight, on f3 or g4? And also on rook h2, like, what happens if they don't take my rook? What happens if they move, right? So on rook h2, king h2, I feel like knight g4 feels safer, because if I go knight takes f3 check, rook g takes f3, queen takes b2, and then suddenly they come down, rook f7. To be fair, we can probably play king e6 and we're probably fine, because any rook f6 is met by queen takes f6. So I would think rook h2 and then knight g4. But rook h2 and let's say king g1. Then we can still go knight f3 check. So rook h2, king f1. But I think we can be quite happy there. If rook h2, king f1, we can even play queen h8, and definitely we've improved the position. But yeah, rook h2, if king h2, is there any difference between knight f3 or knight g4? I'd probably play knight g4, but unless we want to win the pawn. Maybe we want to win the pawn, if there's no follow-up. Yeah, maybe I'll go rook h2 and knight takes f3. Just grab that greedy pawn and just hope that that's enough. Okay, let's find out.
Game, here turns on Joe Bava. It's black to move. How to continue?
Aha, Joe Bava for black. Okay, so Kyogre says, I know the basic rules. I bought a couple books, but I can't get lead chess rate past 1400. No way. No way. Yeah, I guess it's just they're just different details and like yeah, I guess even like a 1400 if you've got major weaknesses in your chess, then a 1400 can exploit that, right? So yeah. Wait, what counters the rook h2 king f1? Yeah, so rook h2 king h1, I just felt satisfied with queen h8. Like yeah, it's not like some knockout blow, but the fact is like I feel like the rook has got more active, the queen has got more active. Maybe there's something better than queen h8, but I'm at least happy enough with that resulting position to feel like this is on the right path. Playing in the Coventry Open next week. Any advice playing in the open section? Aim is 2 out of 5. Ah, okay. Exciting. I won't be playing in the Coventry Open, even though I probably could. But nah, it's too soon for me. But wow, aim for 2 out of 5 in the open section. I would say the Coventry Open, you have 3 rounds of classical chess on the Saturday. So I think the most important thing is to actually not do any chess on the day, except for playing. So like really rest, like rest at every moment. And that's going to be the biggest difference because people are going to be blundering out of tiredness and you just need the rest. So that would be my recommendation. Was thinking rook h2 check, king f1, rook h1 check. Yeah, I was looking at these ideas as well, and I just got a bit lazy and was like, why do I want to follow this? So I kind of thought that maybe there's a way that white can avoid these knight discovery checks, right? So, like if rook h2, king f1, rook h1, what about king e2, right? Maybe you could play like rook e1 check, and that probably does the job actually. Rook e1 check does the job. I kind of got there and thought, whatever, but actually, yeah, that looks really good. So, nice job, Woody, for pushing further. And yeah, I think rook e1 would deal with this king e2 escape.
Yeah, I think. Okay, white's queen on b2 is undefended, and we could try with a check to move our knight on e5 somewhere and take the queen. Imagine opponent's king is on g1. What would you play? If you say knight f3, discover the attack with the check and then take the queen, you are correct. What would you play? Opponent's king was on f2. If you say knight g4 or knight d3 check and then take the queen, you are again correct. So, what we can do with this king on g2? Okay, the decoy comes to help. We play here knight h2 check. If white takes king h2, then knight f3 check or knight g4 check, and then we take the queen. If white plays king g1, what we do? Well, knight f3 check.
So someone says, Andre. So welcome, Andre, to the stream. I don't recognize your name. Is this your first stream? If so, yeah, we're just training calculation and tactics. So rook f2, king f1, rook f2. If takes knight d2. If knight f3. Wait a sec, what? King h2, it's probably me not understanding. King f1, rook f2. Aha, knight d3 you meant, right. And if move knight f3. I see, so on king f1, you can just straight up go rook f2. Right. Okay, yeah, nice. So no need for rook h1. Okay, because I complimented you and didn't insult you, you can reveal your Felder. Welcome Felder to the stream. I'm glad you have some chess. Yeah, knight d3, no problem. I understood. So actually, yeah, that's even better. So Andre, really good find with rook f2. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like when you calculate, it's quite important to remember that with this move rook h2, I was even satisfied with the move queen h8. Now, of course, queen h8 is completely suboptimal to rook h1 or rook f2, but the point is I can still play rook h2 and not waste the time to look deeper. And once my opponent reacts, right, once they play king f1, then I can calculate again and see, okay, do I have something better than queen h8? So do try and like make sure you have like checkpoints where you can like be like, okay, this is good enough, I can play the move, and then we'll see. So I think this is a good practical tip.
And then take the queen on b2.
But okay, I think we got it.
F1. And now how to continue. Again, please pause the video and think.
I reckon Andre. Rook f2, beautiful. Good stuff.
Knight g4 or knight d3.
Okay, cool. Your first time, welcome.
Knight f3 or knight d3, and then taking the queen. And if white plays king g1, then knight f3, discover the attack with the check, and next taking the queen. So a very nice one by Jabbar Bahadur. Rook h2, decoy plus discovered attack. And after king f1, rook f2, the game is over. The next one. This is my favorite one. It's black to move, very challenging, but very nice one. You can pause the video and think if you love challenges.
Oh boy. Okay, most challenging one. Okay, we got to solve this. So yeah, I'm not gonna check chat, but you're welcome to say the answer in chat and discuss between yourselves, and I'll have a look at the end. So, of course, whenever we see a new position in chess, before we start looking at any ideas or any moves, we must evaluate the position. So, a full understanding of material, king safety, pawn structure, any dynamic considerations. So let's get the full picture, and then we'll go in deeper and start calculating. By the way, guys, like, sorry to completely distract you as you're probably just calculating or thinking, but I was just thinking how, like, these last few days since reaching my goal with the rapid chess, like, I feel like I've had like such brain fog when it comes to playing. Like, I don't know if I've not been eating properly or sleeping properly or something. And it's just like something I reflected on was like, it's so nice that when you play from home, like just playing online, you have complete control over whether you play or not. Like, I can just not play, right? If I'm not in my best shape. But when you play in a tournament, let's say a 9-round tournament, your like mood, your ability to play can fluctuate within that 9 days, 10 days, or whatever, and you don't really have a choice. You just have to play. So yeah, it really just shows how like grueling like over the board chess can be when you're playing like these serious like open 9-round tournaments. So yeah, just thought I'd reflect on that. But yeah, to speak of the evaluation, basically white is a pawn up. King safety wise, probably black's king is slightly, well, actually significantly weaker because they can't even castle due to our bishop. You can't castle through check. And also the queen is on like x-raying the king. The rook is covering any potential escapes to the d-file. So the king definitely feels very weak. In contrast, the black king is much safer because the pawns are all on light squares. This bishop is a light squared bishop, so these pawns are perhaps not best suited in the endgame, but very well suited in the middle game to kind of shut this bishop out. However, given enough time, maybe h5 could try and weaken the black king with this rook on h1. So this is something to do with the king's safety and material. Then regarding pawn structure, I mean, white is a pawn up, but no sides have any passed pawns. Actually, this b5 pawn is very well secured by this bishop on c4. One day, if the queen wasn't here, maybe an a4 break to try and distract the pawn and win the bishop could be a theme, but probably not here. So it really feels like in this position, when you start calculating, you need a goal with the calculation. And my goal when I start to search for candidate moves, which I haven't done yet, would be to see how can I, capitalize on the fact that this king is so weak. So I'd be looking at any moves that could involve like some kind of attack on this king. Now, of course, we have a little hint that then there will be some kind of discovered attack in this puzzle at some point. But okay, what candidate moves would we have? So one thing to note as well is like, just to note a few more things about the position. The queen is x-raying the queen to the king. The rook has some x-ray vision on the queen and the rook on c1. So if the bishop were to move with a check, say, you might be able to pick up the queen. I think that's like the most important things to note. So a move that's jumping out to me is rook d1. I'm gonna try my best not to calculate anything yet. Let's come up with some more candidates first. So rook d1 is one. I guess we've got to consider the effect of queen takes c3, but probably feels wrong given the goal that we want to try and exploit this weak king. It's difficult to find a way in for the pieces. I mean, rook d1 definitely feels like something could be there. Maybe b4 could be an interesting move with the idea that if like pawn takes and I go queen a2 or something, so maybe I get the queen in this way. So maybe b4, rook d1. Probably I should have like some backup move just in case like all the tactics don't work. Okay, of course this is a puzzle. We know that there will be a tactic that works, but in general, you should kind of have like some backup options. So maybe a calm move like queen a4 could look quite nice. Just don't trade the queens. Maybe put some more pressure on this d1 square. This could be a move. So okay, queen a4, rook d1, and b4. Now, the move that I need to calculate the most for me is rook d1, because of course there's this idea that if the rook were to take, then queen takes c3, and we win a queen, which is great. If the king were to take, we've achieved our goal of bringing the king to a light square, in which we can play bishop e2 check and pick up the queen on c3 with our rook. Bearing in mind, we should be very, very careful not to play bishop b3, because then the queen would be able to take our bishop and get out of the attack. So I think rook d1, king d1, and bishop e2 check should be enough to be better. So I guess the big question is rook d1 check, bishop takes d1. And what do we have there? And there... Oh, wait. God. I literally just played rook d1, bishop takes d1, and then rook takes bishop. And I just forgot that we've already gotten rid of the rook. So, rook d1, bishop takes d1. What can we do? I don't really know. We've just hung a rook. Like, what have we achieved? I'm sure chat has got the answer by now. And this is just a painful wait to see if I work anything out. So rook d1, bishop takes d1. I'm really close to giving up actually on it, because I don't really see... Like, maybe there's a way to make a move first, and then we play rook d1. So maybe like another move that's coming to mind as a candidate move is bishop e2. Like, I wonder if bishop e2 could be something. But it looks so dodgy. Bishop e2, a discovered attack on the queen. The queen is pinned to the king, so there's no queen takes c8. There's no like king takes e2 or bishop takes e2 because rook takes c3. And I guess on bishop e2, if queen takes a5... Do we have a follow-up there? The problem is, like, we're never even threatening, like, some rook d1 mate stuff, because the king can always take the bishop. Oh, what about bishop f1? Bishop f1, if they take the queen, then we can go rook takes c1. Holy, that's a nice move. And bishop c1, bishop f1 I mean. Bishop f1, like I don't really see... let me see, did anyone get bishop f1 in chat? Yo, Kyogre, the strongest 1400. So guys, for anyone who doesn't know, Kyogre is like a super good shogi player. Like, I guess he's like probably equivalent to my level in chess, I would say, like in the sense that he's kind of like 2500 level shogi equivalent online. But of course, in shogi, calculation and tactics are much, much more important than, well, okay, that's arguable. I mean, I think in chess you can get by with like less skills at calculation and tactics, right? If you have more understanding. Whereas in shogi, if you don't have good calculation and tactics, you're just going to get wrecked, which I found out pretty soon. So yeah, I'm not surprised Kayok found that. But yeah, oh, bishop f1. What a find. What a find. So I guess like the way I found this was just like, I don't know, just I guess what I showed you, right? Like just coming up with some candidate moves, not really getting anywhere, then seeing like new resulting moves like bishop e2, seeing that it doesn't quite work, and then seeing that, oh wait, bishop f1 kind of does everything that bishop e2 dreamed of doing, right? So yeah, I think just bishop f1, crazy attack on the queen, and then somehow it's just working. I mean, Kayog, if you could put into words how you found bishop f1, that would be pretty cool. Just to hear your perspective of how you came up with this move. But this is also like the Magnus way of playing actually, which is you want to play on all 64 squares of a board. Like bishop f1 might not be in your intuition, but because it's a square that you can move to, like it's a legal move, you consider it. So Magnus is very good at just considering the most like ridiculous looking moves and finding logic in them. Yeah, my 1000 ELO brain doesn't see an answer to bishop f1. Yeah, bishop f1 looks good. It looks really good to me. We're just threatening to win the queen. Or give us mate. What a move, what a move. Bishop f1, let's go.
Okay, here we can move the bishop on c4 and attack the queen. However, the problem is that our queen on a5 also hangs. If we try something like bishop d3, after queen a5, rook c1 check, white plays king d2. Well, we can take on h1, but our d8 rook also hangs. If we play bishop c4 check, king d3, rook d3, king f4, we can take on h1, but white's king ran away. So what we can do in the initial position?
Right.
Okay, the position is from the game Ridley Adorian, and here Adorian found a fantastic move. The game was played bishop f1. What is this? Now the queen on c3 is pinned.
So the other thing with chess as well is like, I feel like even though my discovered attack tactics, you know, clearly have been like subpar compared to like the rest of my chess, I feel like the way I play chess is like I get very secure, safe positions where I know the themes and the positions very well. So I'm much less likely to just get whacked by a move like bishop f1 because I'm not going to be playing such open positions, especially when my king is in the center like this. I'm not going to be playing so ambitiously with the white pieces to even give myself the chance of getting shocked by such a move. So I think it's like, yeah, obviously it's good to be able to spot these things, but also you can find ways around it as well. It's like not, okay, it is essential to some extent, but yeah, you can definitely play in ways that these kind of tactics appear less, right? So that's what I was trying to say.
And also attack. White will take queen c8, and if they take queen a5, then rook c1. This way the bishop on f1 controls the e2 square.
Yeah,
and
incredible.
CD1 eats some mate. After bishop f1, white cannot save the game. Why bishop f1 not d3?
For the record, I have no idea why Avatix said this rook taking, because it's so much more aesthetic to take with a d rook. Like, where is the aesthetic beauty of c rook? Like d rook every day, guys. Would you take with a d rook? I mean, come on, like. All your major pieces on this back row, like, how beautiful is that? Every day of the week I'm taking with the d-rook.
dd1 rook cd1 eats some mate. After bishop f1, white cannot save the game. Why bishop f1 not d3? Because after queen a5, rook c1, the bishop should have been on f1, because now on d3, white can play king d2.
Yeah, so I think we got it. Maybe let's actually do some more of these puzzles. I mean, they're going to be slightly easier. He said that the test had slightly easier puzzles than the previous tactics. But I kind of just want to get more practice. Like I'm really, really bad with these discovered attacks, and I just need to do more of them, even if they're easy. So how I discovered it, I thought if the bishop moved out the way, he would attack the queen, right? So I thought about where to move it and found it rather easily. Right, exactly. So that's interesting to me because I think like a move like bishop f1, intuitively it looks just so wrong to put the bishop on that square. So. But I guess, yeah, the way you phrased it, yeah, it makes it very logical and very findable. I missed a question on chat from Arjun. What's the best strategy facing underrated juniors in a tournament? God, that's a good question. I mean, let me show you, right? Like I played in the Coventry Open, or maybe it was the Birmingham, P-Day Michael Green. Like, not to demoralize you, Arjun, but I played in like the Coventry Open or Birmingham Open. It was like basically the same format and same organizers. But this was the tournament. I think I showed it in a video recently where this kid was a Korean junior. He was 2100, and I lost, and that literally ruined my whole tournament. Having played like a really decent tournament otherwise. Like I was on 50% and then lost to this underrated player. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. I feel like probably the best thing is to stay calm and just realize that because they are a junior, they will have weaknesses. They will have certain lacks of experience. If you have more experience in certain areas about, let's say, like grinding positions or endgame skills or something, maybe you can try and push the game in a direction where you think you'll have more of a strength. But yeah, in general, I mean, underrated juniors, they're just difficult. Like, I mean, it's just like you're playing someone who's not their true level, and I think you just need to find a way to just play them as an equal, or maybe even consider them stronger than you. Just like have full appreciation and respect, and just like give it your best. I don't really know what else to recommend, really. But I've definitely struggled with playing underrated juniors, because there'll definitely be this moment in a game where like I have this feeling like I have to win this. Like if they're like 300, 400 points lower rated than me, and like I have like a equal position against like a GM, then I would just probably kill the game and make it a draw. But you know, you have, like, I feel like I have to win even if this player is objectively as strong as I am. So, and this can be very risky then, because suddenly when you have to win, there's more chances that you'll risk and then lose. So I don't know. I think just play them, try your best, try not to let it get in your head, and then that's the best. Yeah, Jenny, no problem. We just had a very, very beautiful puzzle, actually. So if you don't read chat and you go back like 5 minutes, you'll see the last puzzle and see if you can find it. But yeah, we're just going to do some more of these test positions. They should be slightly easier. Let's give these a go.
The examples from the previous video were not very simple, and it's totally fine if you didn't solve them from the first try. In this video, the test video, the examples are going to be easier, and if you watch the section carefully, you should be able to solve most of the offered examples. So let's go. The first one. What do you think? Can Black take the d5 pawn now, or it's a poisoned pawn?
Okay, so they take on d5. Okay, like I'm not going to evaluate just because... Okay, no, I should evaluate. I should always evaluate. Why shouldn't I evaluate? Black is a pawn up. We have opposite color bishops. Although after knight takes d5, the king is definitely slightly weak. So, of course, we start looking at this bishop takes h7 idea. Probably best is just to win a full knight. And if queen takes, then bishop takes h7. Happy days. We pick up the queen. So I hope everyone got that. Yeah, in this position, then you can play bishop takes h7 and pick up the free queen. This is a very common motif with the bishop on d3 and a queen on d1 or d2. So don't forget that.
Now what do you think? Can Black take the d5 pawn or not?
Okay, can I take on d5? Well, in this position, we don't immediately have the king on a light square. But that is where these kind of themes come in, right? Queen takes d5, we can then go rook e8 check, lure the king onto a light square with king e8, and then play bishop g6 and pick up the queen. However, in that position, after rook e8, king takes, bishop g6, Black can block the check with queen f7. So we can take the queen, king takes back, and we then play queen and nothing against rook, bishop, and a pawn. So we might need to finesse this a bit better. If queen takes d5, how else can we finesse this move? I only see rook e8, king takes, and then bishop g6, queen takes. Is there a way we can play better at that point? Oh, we're just missing a fork at the end, for God's sake. Okay, so basically, queen takes pawn, rook e8 check, king takes e8, bishop g6 check. If queen f7, we can go bishop takes f7, king takes f7, and queen d5, picking up the rook on this light square. So in general, black is this is clearly like a beginner playing, because black should never ever have the rook on a light square, given that we've got a light square bishop and a queen, like, and the light squares are all weak. Like, it's just a terrible idea to keep this bishop rook on b7. And had it been on the dark square, then they actually might have some fighting chance. So
Okay.
I think that's
King
clear.
goes on g8. Black's king is on dark. Doesn't mean that queen decoy sections already e8. Then decoy check e8. Bishop covered attack with the check.
Yeah.
Queen took bishop f7. King rook bishop and now because after all, black can resign. Play queen d5. For
There we
next
go.
move. After rook e8, black played king f7. It would not change anything. He would play the same. Or bishop g6 and then take the.
Fair enough. I probably should have considered what happens if they didn't take the rook, but I kind of felt that, yeah, like this tactic is still in the position. Okay. Yeah, didn't see that after queen a5, rook c1, just take e2. Right. Yeah, exactly, this bishop f1. Yeah, thanks, Andre, for letting Evgeny know. Yeah, exactly. So if you actually follow my stream, I also thought bishop e2 first. And bishop e2 was like my intuition, and then I realized it doesn't really achieve anything. And then bishop f1 is like just the same but better. Yeah, it's interesting how like a piece, it doesn't control the square that it's on. Oh, how interesting is that, guys? Like bishop e2, the bishop doesn't actually control the e2 square. So the fact that you want to control e2 means that you have to play bishop f1. That's really interesting. Not a single piece controls the square that it's on. Is that true? That's actually true. I've never thought about that. A piece does not control the square that it's on. So even a queen, that looks like it controls all of these squares. Like it controls all of the squares that it controls except for the one it's on. That's so interesting. I've literally never had that thought. I've literally never had that thought. That's really interesting. Anyway, okay. I think this is white to play. Oh, okay, yeah, probably is. Okay, so again, this seems pretty easy. Rook h8, it's very forcing. So yeah, when you see a combination that's extremely forcing, you can probably just go into it as long as your evaluation skills at the end are very on point, right? So rook h8, king takes h8, knight takes f7, king g8, force, queen takes b6. They can take the knight, we can take the bishop, and case done. So yeah, these are much easier. Okay, so this is one more. Yeah, sorry guys if this is a bore, but I just need the extra practice. Okay, yeah, so again, queen takes f8, king takes f8, bishop c5 check, and you pick up the queen, and you're going to be a rook for a pawn up. So I think that's pretty clear as well. Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't even have to calculate after the king moves away, because ultimately... Oh! There is a mate threat. Okay, guys, I'm going to start evaluating properly, because this does deserve credit, right? Like, you know, you take the rook, the king moves away, and if we can't defend checkmate, then we're completely and utterly screwed. Thankfully, though, we can play the move queen h8 check. Or maybe queen g7 is even more precise, because then that forces the king to take. Queen h8 can allow king g6. So queen g7, king takes, and then bishop... d4, and then you pick up the rook and pick up the queen, and all's good. But yeah, no, next time I evaluate this properly. This is too lazy. This is too lazy. Yeah. Okay. Right, so let's get the prompt, just in case it's important.
The next example is white to move how to continue.
Okay. So sad seeing Ding right now. It's like you can't calculate properly anymore. Honestly, like, you know, like for the longest time I've been like trying to advocate like how chess is really not just about chess strength, but it's just about a mental game. Like, there's no way that Ding has become a worse player in the past year. It's just like he can't exhibit his strength because he's not dealing with the pressure of being world champion very well. And that's all there is to it. I mean, like, yeah, like when like the reason as well why like I feel like I haven't really progressed rating wise like over the board is just because I suddenly had so many more challenges to overcome, which I didn't have as a junior. So it's like, yeah, the mental game is like such a big part of like any competitive sport, like when you're taking it seriously. Yeah, it is quite sad, but at the same time, I think like I hope Ding can appreciate that, you know, his achievements, whether he, you know, continues to live up to, you know, like, I don't know, a world champion standard, he ultimately earned it, right? Like, there's no one disputing the fact that, you know, he came second in that candidates and therefore earned the right to play. Like, you know, sure, he got a bit lucky that Magnus pulled out, but yeah, I think it's completely fair. Yeah. And also, yeah, it's not chess, it's a variant. Yeah. We had this discussion yesterday how, yeah, it's just like, it is just a different game. It is just a different game, and like people should stop taking it so seriously. I think the reason why people take it so seriously is because Magnus is taking it seriously, and it's just like, yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I mean, people have different strengths, right? So clearly, Ding's strengths like aren't built for playing good chess 960. I mean, like, and that's fine. It's a different game, so that's how I feel about it. Yeah. Mine isn't fully at the board. Also, Tattle is disappointing for him too. Yeah, like he hasn't really had like a strong showing since the World Championship. So, yeah. But ultimately, Ding will always be a legend. At least in my mind. Like, maybe I should make a tweet about this. How Ding is always going to be a legend. Like no matter what happens. Like it's, yeah. Like, honestly, I think he made a better world champion than Nepo would have done. I think it's, like, really iconic. Like that whole world championship match was just, like, the coolest thing ever. It was so sick. Like, the self-pin for immortality, like, that was just incredible way to finish. Like, that is world champion material right there to not take that draw. Anyway, I'm getting very distracted. Let's solve this. So, okay, let's do a proper evaluation. So, we can see that we are down a lot of material. We are down, they have 2 rooks for 2 pieces, so a total of 4 points. Pawn structure is otherwise pretty similar. Regarding the pawn structure, we have to be very careful of back rank checkmate, given our king's situation. And in terms of weakness, our king is weak in that regard, but also Black's king is very weak because we have a light squared bishop and their king is on a light square, so is their queen, and their queen is undefended. This is like really, really poor planning from Black. So, okay, let's now consider our candidate moves based on all of this. So, of course, bishop h7 should be a candidate. Bishop c4 is also a candidate too. And actually, I think we can stop there because I think the problem with bishop h7 is after king h8, you take the queen, they have rook c1. And that's why evaluating is important, so that you see that there is this checkmate threat. But bishop c4 is very cute because you actually pin the queen and you also block the rooks. So this looks to be like a really devastating discovered attack, and I think bishop c4 just wins.
Please pause the video and think.
Okay. Oh, hey, good job, guys. Bishop c4, nice. It's really annoying seeing 1200 say standard chess is dead because of opening prep. Yeah, exactly. I think I was saying this more last stream, Josh, which I think you missed. But basically, I think chess 960 is only fun for Magnus because I feel like Magnus really has completed chess like to the absolute max. He is the GOAT, and therefore, like, you know, this is kind of interesting and fun for him. And that's why I was saying, like, you know, for the other players, I don't really see, like, why they're indulging in this game. At the same time, I can understand, like, probably they get paid a lot. It's, like, a lot of good exposure. But ultimately, yeah, I don't think it's, like, you know, they've still got ambitions. They've still got goals, and they should definitely push for that. So I don't really think Chess 960 has a serious place in the chess world. Like, I don't know. It's just a different game with far less history and culture. Like, if you're gonna, maybe Magnus should take up shogi or take up Go, right? Like, that would be a lot more interesting, I think. But yeah, like Chess 960, to start a whole new culture around it, it also just feels like it doesn't have as much beauty to the game. Like I don't think I'm just saying that as a chess player. Like, I just think, like, when you have the same starting position over and over and you can slowly perfect this oh, what happened here? Let's go from the start. Yeah, like when you have the same position over and over, and you can perfect like certain like types of position, like this is so satisfying. And to just be given like a random position each time, it's more like you're puzzle solving, not really like playing chess. So yeah, definitely all happy, like much more happy about chess. The self pin, at least for me, was a sign of iron nerve from him. Like unbelievable. Like honestly, one of the greatest moves I've ever seen in chess. And I watched the whole thing live as well with like Caruana and who was also commentating. Caruana, was it like Robert Hess or something? And nobody saw it coming. That was the incredible thing. Not a single person watching, even Caruana, which is why like I wouldn't even be. I'd be very happy if Ding could keep his world champion again, right? Like. Just like, you know, just win the world champion each year and just like say that, yeah, I am good at chess. I'd love it for him to win it again, to be honest. And especially against a player like Caruana or something. Like if he could show that he has the strength to hold out against such a formidable player, that would be awesome. Yeah, watching it live was actually unbelievable, yeah. Opening prep is one of the most interesting aspects of chess. And yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, you've got players like Danil Dubov, and Richard Rapport, who are like constantly pushing chess to their absolute limits in terms of the openings, and you know, playing these openings like obscurely against the top players. So it's not like they're just, you know, testing these like weird systems against like beginners. Like no, you can get away with it. So there's definitely room, and especially since it's Alpha Zero as well. Like, you know, there is ways to play chess better, and yeah, just enjoy it. Like I don't see why we need to invent a whole new game to keep things interesting. Like, nah. I mean, Kramnik had the same thing where he invented like this chess where it was like no castling chess, and he thought that chess would just be a better game if like there was no castling. It would be way more interesting. And it's just like no. Like, yeah, if you like, I don't know, add an extra knight on the board for both sides, that'll increase the complexity. Just play the damn game. Just enjoy the damn game. Like, it's really not hard.
Okay, it looks like we can play background one, and
yeah, I think we got this one.
we pin the queen and also attack it. Take queen d1. Now we take queen. There's no rook c1. We will win the fight here. Bishop b7. What do you think?
Okay. Fine. I thought we got the answer. So bishop b7, good move or not? Definitely feels dodgy. Actually, this is a quote from Anish Giri that the bishop on g2 is better than the bishop on b7 because you'll always be protecting the bishop with your king, whereas this bishop is often a lot more loose. So for instance, the move that jumps out to me straight away as like a ratty player who often has this kind of setup is a move like knight g5, right? Because knight g5 threatens mate and also threatens the bishop. And the other thing is if the queen takes, we take the bishop, we're also hitting the rook. And yeah, to win an exchange there, and also black doesn't have a light squared bishop anymore, this is completely winning. I'm just having a double last look to see if I've missed anything, but no, I think this is very easy. Knight g5, take the bishop, happy days. Okay, you don't even have to see this last queen takes c7. The point is like you're already in exchange up. But okay, sure, it does help to see even further, but yeah, there's nothing better in the position. Wait, what is it saying here?
Diagonal playing whether c6. So after knight g5, they can simply take the knight, or to play d5. So one of these moves, c6 or d5.
Right.
Bishop b7 because of this knight g5 discovered attack. The next one. The position is from a blitz game on Kasparov. Kasparov was 2 pawns up, he was absolutely winning, and he was taking to take on e3 with a queen or with a knight. And eventually he made a big blunder. I offer you to pause the video and think how to take.
Oh my god, imagine this. Kasparov against Anand, a blitz match. Yeah, knight g5, good job. Kramnik, a specialist in his ideas being rightfully ignored. Yeah, I had to block Kramnik from Twitter. Bit of a shame. So I don't really... okay, so basically Kasparov could just take on e3 and on recapture take and basically just trade pieces, right? Which is what you want to do when you're material up. So we've already been given like a clue to the evaluation. Black is 2 pawns up. But here, black made a big blunder. So what are we doing? Are we trying to find like black to play in blunder? Like what's the...
Big blunder. I offer you to pause the video and think how to take on e3 with a queen or with a knight.
Oh, okay. So we are taking with the taking with one of these pieces, but one of them's a mistake. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, definitely queen is the most intuitive, right? Because you want to trade even more pieces and you wouldn't want to self-pin. Even though, okay, you've won a piece, so you're not really self-pinning if you ever lose that piece. Queen would definitely be my intuition, but then I guess you do expose the queen. So maybe on queen takes e3, there's a very cheeky queen f1. Like, that's something that looks scary to me. Although, you could just move the queen. And is it really such a big deal? Like, if you just move back to queen g5 and they take on f7... Also, actually, we can take on e3 if queen f1. We can just play like queen b6 and just stay on this diagonal and the rook is pinned. So it's definitely not this. So again, we are being extremely lazy, not evaluating properly. So let's do it once more. So the white king is somewhat weak because g2 is extremely weak. Therefore, that ties the rook and queen down to the protection of g2. Black's king is also weak because it's exposed in the center. So material-wise, black is 2 pawns up. And we also have this tension on this e3 bishop. Okay, so with that in mind, our candidate moves are we want to trade. So knight takes or queen takes. So let's calculate. So if queen takes e3, what can white play? They can either take on e3. They can also take on g4 based on the fact that the rook on e1 is defended by the knight on d3. Oh, and that's very cheeky because queen takes e3, rook takes queen takes e3, queen takes g4. Wherever the queen moves, I thought if the queen had to move back on like the a7, g1 diagonal, like a7, b6, or d4, not d. Okay, maybe d4. Then white could play queen takes g7, right? Oh, even better. So queen takes e3, queen takes g4. Not only do you hit the bishop. And the reason why I said unfortunately was because I thought queen takes e3, queen takes g4, queen h6 protects the bishop, and then there's no more tactic. But the point is queen takes g4, sorry, queen takes e3, queen takes g4, queen h6, whereas queen takes c8. So queen takes g4 is such a cold shower, wow. And this is why, I mean, obviously Kasparov is an absolute beast, and this is why he can play such positions. But for me, as a human being that has feelings and does not want to have a heart attack every other game, I refuse to play positions like this anymore because it's like, yeah, it's so easy to miss something, right? You can outplay your opponent, be completely winning, and you're just, you know, happily trading the piece as you should, and suddenly there's a tactic like queen takes g4. So maybe this is an important aspect to bring into your evaluation as well, is like just take note of any loose pieces, right? Like the bishop on g7, the rook on c8. The more loose pieces, the more chance there's a tactic. So yeah, and this is also the problem with playing like super ambitiously with a color. Like when you play super ambitiously, try and get the absolute most out of a position, maybe Stockfish will agree with you, but you may have a very dangerous road ahead of you where it's only just working if you navigate everything perfectly. And for me, I would much rather play a system that I can feel secure. I know all the tactics. I'm not going to take any risks. And this works out for me personally much better. And I think it would also work out much better for a lot of people. But alas, we're living in the world of lifetime repertoires and chessable courses where they are, you know, showcasing the absolute main lines of the main lines. And it's very, very difficult to always play. Like, of course, there are some main lines that are easier than others. But yeah, this was something I was saying as well in my most recent video. So yeah, take with a knight is the conclusion.
Okay. Knight e3 was the correct move. And after queen e3, rook e3, here we have an endgame where black is 2 pawns up. In the game, Kasparov decided to take on e3 with the queen, thinking that it's the same thing. But now Kasparov blundered Anand's next move. Do you see it? Well, instead of taking the queen, Anand played queen g4. And now it's a discovered attack on the queen, and also the c8 rook hangs.
Exactly. So, what are people saying? I don't care about opening prep because I'm not a high rated player, so openings almost mean nothing in my matches. If I was a high rated player, I think it would be a bit boring. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird, like, when I grew up playing chess and I got to a decent level, I used to hate on people who spent time on openings. I'd be like, oh, you're such a theory nerd, like, you know, it's like, it's not real chess, like, you know, real chess starts in the middle game kind of thing. But I actually have found, like, a lot of beauty in, like, just understanding your opening and getting deeper in your knowledge and understanding, and I think it's just a really nice process. So I think, yeah, it all really depends on what level, because I can sympathize, like, you know, if you know, you have to grind your opening so hard to the point that it's just memory of Stockfish moves in order to get by, then that can be a bit too tedious. But I think you only really have to worry about that once you get to IM. I think IM and above, when you're playing consistently against other IMs and GMs, then you might need to do that. But any level below that, you don't have that problem, and then openings can be much more interesting, I think. So, and even so, I think I would take the challenge. Like, if I was strong enough to get to that level where I need to be memorizing Stockfish moves, I would definitely enjoy the challenge of, let's say, trying to find computer moves that maybe deviate from the absolute Stockfish main line, and find ways to outwit and outsmart my opponent. Like, let's say, a bit like the game where Nick, what was his name? Nicholas Teodoru against Rajabov. I mentioned it in I think my second to last video. Yeah, like this was like some amazing prep, and this is the kind of thing that I would love to do. Like I would love to beat Rajabov by preparing like some super deep prep. I think it would be really cool. So yeah, I'm a fan of this stuff.
Like to move, how to continue. Let's pause the video.
Okay, I think this is our last exercise on Discovered Attack. Let's give it our best. Okay. Okay, it looks like they've just been very nice with the last one. Again, I didn't properly evaluate, so I'm doing that now. Basically, we are a pawn down, but we do have the bishop pair, and our pieces are just very active. And this is also why I completely gave up playing any positions where we just have this kind of pawn structure, right? With just all the pawns in front of a king. I either play with systems where we have a fianchetto, or I have a system where I've developed my bishop to f5, and I've traded off this light squared bishop, or maybe I've put the pawn on h6 and I've put my bishop back on h7. I'm very, very conscious of increasing my king safety, because I don't like having to worry about tactics like this, like Greek gift sacrifice. Like, no, I'm not calculating this nonsense. I'm not gonna worry about that stuff. So in this position, of course, then we have these ideas, and I think in this position, bishop takes d6 looks really strong because it's a fork, and if the queen were to take, then we can go bishop takes h7 and pick up the queen. I really think there's nothing to worry about here.
Okay, if you say bishop d6, you are correct. You take the pawn, attacking the queen, and the rook on f8, and black cannot take the d6 because of bishop h7. Discover the attack, and next you win the queen.
Okay, guys, we managed to do it. This is great. Next time we will begin on double attack. I think double attack is a bit different to a fork, because fork is like when one piece attacks two pieces, where a double attack can be like some kind of discovery or move that results in two different pieces being attacked by two different pieces. So I think that's the difference between double attack and fork. But yeah, we will save this for next time. And unfortunately, I actually have some plans at 3 p.m. Luckily, the plans are online, so I don't have to worry about getting somewhere. But yeah, I've got the bounce. So unfortunately, that means the streak will have to stay as it is. And I guess I will train with all of you tomorrow. So thank you for sticking by. Thank you for engaging with the chat. It makes my experience of training tactics so much more fun. So appreciate you guys a lot for that. And I guess see you tomorrow. And we've made it to 39 minutes. So this is fantastic. Salute and adios.